What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to KvltDeFi. This is the channel where we bring you really the latest and greatest in innovations and tech in decentralized finance, quite specifically on Pulsechain, and even more specifically, sometimes in the Dev Jacob ecosystem on Pulsechain. Tonight, I would like to really talk about something which is very near and dear to my heart specifically, and it's something that I think is so important for Pulsechain, and I don't think enough people really talk about it, right? There's been a bit of drama recently concerning PDI, as we all know, decentralized stablecoin on Pulsechain, and all the drama that has caused, basically. I think now things have sort of started to calm down a bit. I mean, I know Somi is still raving on about it. He's still a big believer, and a good buddy of mine, coexistent Stephen as well. Big believers, and I think ultimately it's one of those things that it'll all come out in the wash, if you understand that expression. It means over time we'll find out exactly what it was all about. But in the meantime, there are other people out there that are trying to do stable coins. Ourselves, Jacob and team are building their own algorithmic stable coin, which really, frankly, if Jacob and team get that right, that's probably one of the biggest innovations, not just on Pulsechain, but in all of crypto, because no one's got it right yet, right? We all know what happened with Luna and the disaster that fell into. But when Luna was up, it went to $40 billion market cap, right? So the appetite for it is there. We know there's a lot of trading between stablecoins, and we need some good stablecoins here on Pulsechain. When I was thinking about who I could discuss this with, really there was only sort of one person really came to mind, and I'm very lucky to say that after a couple of weeks in the works, we've got him on board. So I'd like to bring up my guest for this evening, and that is Mr. Crypto Coffee. How you doing, man?
Thanks for having me, KvltDeFi. Pleasure.
Yeah, thanks very much for this. Yeah, like I say, that's about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, the PDI drama was absolutely rife. Everyone was panicking every single day. It was all people were talking about, and I really wanted to discuss it with someone, and I reached out to you, and so thanks very much for being here. Really. I am aware as well, everyone that's watching, that there is a Pulsechain conference set up by RH Max, which is happening right now. I think now they've moved on to the Aubrey de Grey longevity session. So I don't think I'm going to be interrupting too much there, because frankly, they're based in Ireland. I know all about them, and I can always watch the replay. I can always watch the replay. But anyone out there that doesn't know, tomorrow I will be a speaker on a panel, Pulsechain panel, with with Brazology and Randy Hilarski and a few others. So make sure you tune into that, right? Yeah. So Matt, how are you getting on?
I'm doing well. Yeah, survived the blackout in Spain, like we were talking earlier. Yeah. back home, and everything is as good as it can be, minus the fact that the markets are wrecked across the board. Yeah, we were going to talk about PDI, I suppose, but has everybody has everybody moved on? I really had just hoped that, like, I can't follow the narrative. I ever since Richard was revealed not to be behind it, I just stopped caring. It's not worth it. I hope everybody else can salvage whatever financial energy they had and move on to other things, but I'm tired of seeing people just scamming and rugging, and some part of it feels a bit nefarious to me, although some other part of it just felt like wishful thinking and just not wanting to let it go. Where are we at with that? I'm not paying attention.
Yeah, so my understanding as of now is that the Atropa team, or the people behind Atropa, so I think it was Katy and Maria, basically they tried to salvage what they could by moving the Atropa things over to this XUSD protocol right now, which is, it's not exactly, it doesn't say it's a stable coin. It says it's a vibratile stable coin, which means that it will always fluctuate around $1, right? Plus, minus, I know, I honestly don't know. It could be 10%, it could be 15%, right? But they have a series of mechanisms in play that it will, even though when it's doing this, they will be able to give people rewards based on the overpeg and underpeg scenarios, right? Just basically the arbitrage. So on paper, it kind of sounds pretty simple. I mean, if it works, it works. But I saw coexistent Stephen put a post up on X, I think it was today or yesterday, and he was saying, or I think it was him or someone referenced him, and they said that this Cassie person, Casey, took out, like, they sold like $500,000 worth of Pulse and bridged it out straight away, and it's kind of making things a bit scary again. So even though I think they tried to salvage, did they really try to salvage PDI, or did they just try to salvage some of their own money?
I think people are just trying to craft new narratives to keep the carrot on the stick. Honestly, I don't see a lot of big future for that. We've got 4 decentralized stablecoins already, so it's not really about the stablecoin aspect. It's about people wanting to gamble on a stablecoin that might peg to $1, and Richard's clearly not behind it. So, you know, I'd like to just move forward. I mean, other stablecoins are cool. Whatever this, we can talk about this XUSD thing. I'm just kind of overseeing people get rinsed in that area.
Yeah. I mean, XUSD. I know that Rackham and his team are heavily invested in it right now. But yeah, it's really, on paper, it just seems to be that it's not going to stay at $1. It's going to fluctuate plus minus and through a series of arbitrage bots, I think. And people can actually buy NFTs to get rewards. So I think it's through the arbitrage trading, they'll be able to give holders certain rewards. But I think you can also buy NFTs to boost yourself up to get more rewards. I mean, ultimately, I don't know, because it's not at $1, right? Even now, it's at like, I don't know, 3 or 4 zeros and change, right? So there's still a very long road to get to $1 in the first place. And then once it's there, see, this is the thing that I've actually discussed this with a few people over the last few days in Telegram chats. If something doesn't start at $1, right? If it's not pegged almost immediately at $1, then there's nothing to say that once it gets to $1, it'll stay at $1, right? I mean, if something goes from 4 zeros up to $1, there is absolutely, you have to have some magical tech, which I don't really think it exists yet. This magical tech which will keep it there, right? I mean, there's nothing to say it will blast straight past $1. You know, there was nothing to say that PDI wasn't going to go to $5-10, right? You know, if the appetite was there, it can just fly past it, and also it can just go straight back down again. So I think, like you say, I think it was very much wishful thinking with PDI. I think a lot of people were in it not because they wanted to see it at $1 and stay at $1. I think they just wanted, the 1,000x or 150,000x from when it launched to get to $1. I think that's what they're more interested in, to be honest.
Yeah, look, I get it. People make money on stuff, and they've got bag bias. I've got bag bias towards Hex. I'll admit it. Although at least Hex is not based off of an entirely false premise with very suspicious behavior and, ambiguous actors where you don't know if they're just trying to extract, or it's just, there's so many other things we could be focused on and spending our time on, like literally even meme coins, like anything at all. So tell me more about this project, this XUSD, enlighten me.
Oh, so XUSD, well, I think that's kind of it really with the Vibratal thing, but Jacob and team are working on Pulsechain USD, right? Pulsechain USD.io, which is a true algorithmic stablecoin, right? It's basically, it fixes the problems that kind of cause Luna to not work, right? One of the big problems that Luna had was it was pretty much keeping the peg by manipulating supply, just by manipulating supply. Whenever there was an overpeg scenario, it would take profits and put it into Bitcoin because they thought that would ensure it and shore it up. And then whenever there was an underpeg scenario, they basically just burnt a bunch of supply to try and bring it back up again. And that's kind of how it went. Also, they had their anchor protocol, which is basically by staking away your stablecoin, so taking that out of circulation, you were getting an interest, and I think the APY, and I think it was up to 20% or something, 20% of the stablecoin. It was kind of frightening, It was really kind of frightening. So Jacob and team, about 18 months ago, decided, okay, well, let's take on this challenge. Right? One of the things that I really like about Pulsechain is that we have a lot of people who are willing to build, right? They're willing to take the chance and build something because, like we always say, when the masses come to Pulsechain, they have to have stuff to do here, and they have to have stuff which can really make them money. Whether that will be, whether it is just messing around on meme coins, or whether it's, using the Signum Oracle when Signum Oracle finally launches, being a reporter on Signum Oracle, becoming a validator on Pulsechain. There's a hell of a lot of projects out there and protocols that really are doing things which are building all the infrastructure and stuff that we need to make Pulsechain a success, you know. And that's one of the reasons why I love working with Jacob and team, because they have a bunch of different projects. They're not resting on the laurels, you know. It's not let's get one project out and then just sit on it, right, and just wait for people to come. It's okay, what do people on Pulsechain need, right? They need fun stuff. So we have all the casino stuff, right? You know, they need some sort of GameFi, because that doesn't exist here. So we have all the Mafia stuff. And now Pulsechain USD, an algorithmic stablecoin, which all of crypto really needs. And a few people that I've spoken to, there's another few, you know, content creators and influencers out there that really believe that this has the potential to be like the flagship product for Jacob, because, and a flagship product for Pulsechain, because getting an algorithmic stablecoin right has never been done. About a year ago, the team had this prototype of this up and running, right? And it did, I think it was doing $150,000 in daily trading. And through a series of these stability miners, it kept its peg, and it kept its peg so precise. It was more stable. I think at the time, now I'm going to call a bunch of people out actually, but I don't mean it in a bad way. But I remember Coast had just launched, right? The Coast stablecoin. I think that was out for about a few months at the time, and the PUSD stablecoin through these stability miners it kept its peg better than that, right? And so far actually, if we look at most of the stablecoins that are out there, even now on Pulsechain, historically, if we look back at it and sort of backtrack and say, okay, how did this keep its peg compared to those? It's head and shoulders. I mean, it's chalk and cheese. It's completely different, you know. And that's just a fact. Like, the fact is there. I think the deviation on the peg was the worst case scenario. It was like 0.3%, and I think the average was like 0.17% or something like that. It was absolutely insane. And you know, the fact that there are teams building stuff like that on Pulsechain, and the fact that there are teams like, you know, and there are developers, I mean, I say it again, like Jacob, I mean, I'll say it, whereas it's over that side, I even got a t-shirt printed, you know, my dev is better than yours, because I believe that, you know, I absolutely believe it.
Jacob is good.
Jacob is good, man, and he's on fire right now. Everything is coming to fruition, you know.
Well, let's recap for people that don't know Jacob. Well, I guess you probably know if you follow KvltDeFi, but if you follow me, you might remember me kind of tweeting about some projects. One of them was Pulsepot.io. I think that was his original. It's kind of a gambling project. I don't gamble, but a lot of people do. And if people can click buttons all day and that's all they want to do, that could be a gateway drug into crypto. I thought it was a good idea. I don't know how popular it still is. Then he moved on to Pulse Predict.
Oh, well, actually, let me cut you off there for a second. Sure. Right. So regarding Pulsepot, the whole plan was that it was going to be this one casino, but it was going to be multi-chain. You know, so it launched as BNB Pot, and then Pulsepot launched, but there are certain games that can't launch on Pulsechain because we don't have the Oracle yet. We don't have the infrastructure. We don't have like any real serious RNG like the VRF stuff that we take from Chainlink, you know.
Now what about Fetch or Signum?
They don't have the RNG, which is good enough, right? Because their RNG block times are based off Bitcoin block times. So they're really slow. So, you know, imagine you're playing a game of roulette, you spin the wheel and you have to wait like, you know, a minute or two for your result.
Yeah.
You know, so what Jacob announced literally a week ago, the ultimate plan was, okay, until we get a real Oracle over here, then we're going to rebrand the whole thing. So now there's a whole rebrand happening. It's called onchain.bet. Onchain.bet is going to be basically Pulsepot, BNB Pot, and a multitude of other chains. I mean, I think we're Sonic, Base, Unichain. There's a bunch of them, right? A bunch of them, and it's basically going to be one token. So it's called on-chain token, so OC token, and that token will be the only token for all of these different blockchains. And you can basically bridge that token to the other blockchain that you want to either play with, or if you want to actually provide liquidity to the games. So effectively, the holders of this token can become the house, and therefore you get the house edge. So the tokenomics are a little bit different from Pulsepot, but this is this is basically like PulsePod on steroids with teeth. It's absolutely massive, and it's going to be completely multi-chain because of Chainlink CCIP. So people from different chains can play against each other all in this one casino. It's going to be it's an absolute monster of a protocol, and that's actually going to be happening right now. So Jacob announced that last week. So if you are actually a holder of BNB pot or PulsePod tokens, basically go to onchain.bet. You can literally convert your tokens in there, and once you've converted your tokens, then just wait for the good news, because that's happening. It's been a long time coming. It's happening now. Then Mafia was next, I think.
Mafia, that's a good one. That's a legitimate game. It's the first of its kind that I've seen. It's like NFT randomized GameFi project with kind of a metaverse spin. You have to see it to know that it's more than just buzzwords. It's a real thing, and the winners can earn hundreds of thousands of dollars in PLS.
Yeah, I mean, in the vault right now on Pulse Mafia specifically, there's over 8 billion Pulse waiting there for the top 5 families to play for and win right now. So the latest with that really is that pre-ranking is live, so it's still kind of in early access. But I mean, the game, you can pretty much play the game fully. The only thing you can't do in the game right now is the kill simulator, so you can't actually kill other characters yet. But people are ranking up the characters like crazy. When you get to certain ranks, you unlock different things you can do. So you can do different heists, you can do smuggling, you can bootleg, you can do all these really cool things, or you can just basically build up a bunch of land and resource, and they all pay you in yield. So there's people playing right now, and they're earning quite good money every day, even now, and it's technically still in early access. So that's moving on again, like I say, like crazy. That's on 2 chains. I definitely see once on chain, once we have some experience with on chain, how it's all bedded in and gets accepted, I think that Chainlink CCIP will be coming to Mafia too, and I think Mafia will probably again go chain agnostic. It will be something absolutely massive, and it will be a multi-chain, and all of these things are designed to bring eyes back to Pulsechain. So it's not that we're leaving Pulsechain at all. It's like this is exactly what it's designed for. It's designed to bring more people here.
It's absolutely the right idea, in my opinion. I mean, there's so much in an environment where we're not necessarily getting in retail money yet. All the liquidity that's floating around in Solana and Base and Ethereum, that's the low-hanging fruit. And
exactly.
So, crypto bros are the first people to target. Then, the rest of the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And we believe that 100%. It's getting people over here is fine. Everyone wants people over here now. It's fine, but there's not really that much for them to do at the moment. There's a few good protocols out there, a few really good protocols out there. But I still think that Pulsechain is so young that we still have a hell of a lot of building to do, And again, that's one of the reasons why I think RH Max's conference is absolute fire. I think it's amazing. It's something that we absolutely need over here. We need more of it. We need 10 of them, not just a Pulsechain conference. We need conferences on other blockchains, which will bring people back over here.
More the merrier, and people going out to token 2049 in Dubai, like all that kind of stuff. That helps.
Yeah, I think we're starting to see on Pulsechain now, or at least I'm starting to see through my own X feed and Telegram chats. We're kind of building a little bubble around ourselves now. And I think it's all because I think it has a lot to do with the fact that there's, the markets are down, right? Red candle syndrome. People are really upset. People are crying about it, and people are not really spending money. I don't think people are spending money in the right ways. I think people are sort of, batten down the hatches, right? Preparing because they don't know what's coming next. So I think while that happens, now we have to just build, right? We just have to keep building, because it's inevitable that. It just takes. I know there's a lot of people out there that are actually like speaking to other people, and they're speaking to people outside of Pulsechain. We're absolutely taking that baton, and we're actually going out there, and we're doing all the groundwork out there, trying to get people back here. It's inevitable. Yeah, no worries. It's inevitable that we will, Pulsechain is going to have that breakthrough. You know, even see Richard is posting a lot now recently. The case officially got dismissed today. That's fantastic. I think we have 60 days for them to appeal. Whether they do or not is another thing.
Yeah, it's good. Everything's lining up. I imagine they won't appeal. Even if they do, I think we need to just keep building through it and turn the ship in a direction of not giving a fuck about the case, because we sometimes make it into a bigger boogeyman than it really is. They can't stop you from buying and holding Pulsex, Hex, whatever. And it's good to see these builders. Jacob, I think how I describe him is he's focusing on the entertainment aspects of the chain, other than, pump tires. And if you call that some form of entertainment, this is gamblify, gamefi, and it's going to be really exciting to see his next launch of, I guess, what Pulse Pot was supposed to be, the full vision.
Yeah, on-chain. So on-chain is coming. I think that's going to be fantastic. But I think this algorithmic stablecoin that he's got, I mean, it's for me personally, I mean, okay, I like all of Jacob's projects. I'm involved in all of them. But for me, I think Pulsechain USD, PUSD, getting an algorithmic stablecoin right, making it really work on Pulsechain. Because, I looked around when I was preparing for this. Actually, I looked around and went on Pulsex, and I every stablecoin on Pulsechain that I could think of, and I was just checking, if I was to swap into this, what would it actually cost me? And once you get above, $20,000, $25,000, then slippage, it kills you. I mean, absolutely kills you. Like really, you're losing. I think after $20,000, after $10,000, you start losing 20%, 25%. You get up to $20,000, you're losing 50, 60% on it. It's how are whales supposed to play over here? If they can't swap big money.
It's funny. I just got a text from a friend of mine that was talking about this exact same issue. He was concerned about, well, I want to use the liquid loan strategy to exit, where I liquidate myself and I keep my stables and I don't hurt the price. But with the way the market is right now, with the liquidity conditions right now and the volume, there's not nearly enough liquidity. We need more people to be using this stuff because it's only as useful as the number of users. It scales probably exponentially, but we need millions of dollars in those pools. And we're going to see things like Coast is coming out with Tide, which is going to be I think it's going to be a fork of like KvltDeFi, which is deep stablecoin specific liquidity pools. We even saw Richard's team try to do something with PulseX, right? There's a large Curve fork stable pool that you can bond USDC, USDT, and DAI all together. But that's only got a couple million in it. And, I'm betting on the fact that when it is time to actually cash out meaningful amounts, we will be in such a mature state that there will be that liquidity sitting there. It's hard to see the forest from the woods, I guess. Yeah, it's like we will get there, I hope, but it all starts with education and building and just letting people know that liquid loans is a decentralized stablecoin backed by Pulse. Hex DC is a decentralized stablecoin backed by Hex. Flex, if you want to go to these websites, it's flex.powercity.io. It's earn.powercity.io. It's liquidloans.io. It is inkprinter.io. And then there's a new one, PUSD. That'll be pretty good.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I like what Abdul is doing. He's really bullish about this, right? About his ink printer. I think it's pretty cool. I'm just happy that people are building. People are taking the time and the effort to actually build. I think it's, for me, and I say this all the time, it's an inevitability that Pulsechain is going to get there. Right? It is. Because everybody just has this will and drive to win, and everyone, and the people that can build things are building really cool things. There's people out there that are just launching meme coins, and we need all of that stuff. We need all that stuff. We need the top hats. We need everything. Yeah, tell us about top hats.
Little thing. Oh, top hat. It's just a meme coin, but now there are some big plans for the future. If and when the markets come back. It's funny, launching in the peak shitty bear sentiment, we still did a 10x, and I had been just waiting on that, hoping that the markets would recover a little bit. I was waiting for a little optimism to make it more of an explosive launch, but we still had a little explosion, minus the fact that everything has just been getting, a day later, we had the caddy draining the PDI out of the whole chain. So it's just it's tough to launch anything right now. And yes, it is just a meme coin, but it's partially to advertise pump.tires, partially to get people to realize that it's okay to launch a meme coin. But the gist of it is that it should be marketed outside of the community. Obviously, it goes without saying, people in the community are going to buy it as well. But it's almost a token of my personal efforts. If you're bullish on me shilling this thing, and if you want to come along for the ride, why doesn't everybody have a meme coin? Almost everybody does. I feel like I was the last person to make one. Everyone's got something. And so, if you don't want to buy it, don't buy it. But if you think that perhaps it won't rug, and perhaps I'm not interested in rugging everybody for peanuts, and more interested in using this as like a Trojan horse to address other communities and such, we'll see where it goes. It's only the beginning, and it'll be easier to pump the entire ecosystem when things come back. So it's like, imagine when the markets really return. This could be a little added gift if somebody nice, were to pump this coin, or at least continue to try to keep this coin alive. And at the end of the day, people just want to know that with memes, it's like, oh, is there somebody else that cares about it? Is there somebody else keeping the lights on? As long as they feel like, oh, this one's not going to be abandoned after 2 weeks, maybe it's actually worth having long-term staying power. But it's just a meme coin. It can't hurt you. And it's kind of just, like I said, a way to address people that are into meme coins, a way to kind of not take ourselves so seriously and just say, look, everyone can do this. You can do it on pump.tires. One day, who knows, might slap some utility onto it. Maybe the holders will be rewarded, but no promises, no expectations. You do whatever you want. And again, like, it's more so, you're bullish on my ability as an influencer to get attention. Who knows? Who knows what'll happen? And we're planting our seeds now. We're all planting our seeds, because when markets come back, I feel like people don't realize how much liquidity is going to flow in when the time is right. Across the board, markets are down. We're at like an all-time low of even volume. Pulsechain's getting less than $10 million daily volume right now, which is lower than it's been since last time we were at an all-time low. Top hat stablecoin, LOL. Top hat, like I predicted, it pumped and then it dumped, and that's what these coins do. So we're gonna wait until all these JEETs are out. It's funny because you have nobody to blame but yourselves for selling. I know it's not me, but we'll see when we find a new floor. Maybe we'll pump things up again, and you're gonna keep hearing about this one along with other meme coins like Most Token, and there's some funny ones like Dick with Butt. It's just entertainment value too. Whenever we're talking about it, you've got, the Durkey Turkey fella over there shilling Dick with Butt token all day. At least he's talking about Pulsechain. And the thing is, with meme coins, or DeFi or NFTs, with any of these projects, whatever narratives you buy into, money tends to stay on the chain, at least because they have to buy PLS first. That's why you even see Richard Hart tweeting about, trying to encourage everybody, hey, check out Pump Tires, launch a coin, see how it goes. Like, you're hearing it from the founder himself, because he understands that all the liquidity of every coin is tied to PLS. So if you come in to buy a meme coin, you buy PLS first, and there's a higher probability of that money staying here. That's why, my tune has definitely changed in regards to the meme coin thing over the last couple of years. When they're extractive, they're not good. But as a casino rotation in a PvP environment, there's no new people coming into crypto. So if we're only talking to crypto bros and circle jerking with ourselves, might as well try to get some outside capital from Solana or from Base or from Binance. And there's one aspect of the fact that you got to try new stuff. If you're doing the same thing for years, if we're making the same hex talking points, which I can keep doing, but goddamn, it seems like it's not working. You know what I mean? It seems like the price only is going down for 3 years, despite all my efforts in that regard. So, I respect to anybody trying new things from a place of integrity and honesty. Not the rug pullers, not the actual scammers and I do think things like sacrifices can be a bit extractive as well. But as everyone's trying to work towards this vision of money on chain and staying on chain and getting the brand name out there.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I mean, I'm always saying, look, if we want this to be a real successful chain, we need everything over here. We need the real intensive, we need the liquidity stuff. We need the oracles. We need all the infrastructure. We need the stuff for, like, I don't know if I want to call them like the mature investor to come over here, someone that really has, like, very heavy bags, like massive whales to come over here, park their money where they can earn, whether it's sticking into Hex. I mean, Hex at least used to be, in the getting back your 30%. We need all of that stuff, and there will be a bunch more. We need the meme coins. We need a bit of fun as well, right? We absolutely need a bit of fun. Like, if you put your money in things and the way the market goes and it's just going down, 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 like you need something to put a smile on your face, and also, like you say, right, like a Trojan horse. If we can start to, especially with the stuff that we're doing, like, with on-chain and Mafia and PUSD, if there is any potential at all for these games, because they're chain agnostic, if you like, I guess, if there's any potential at all for them to bring people over the Pulse chain, just fucking do it. You know what I mean? Let's fucking do it. And anyone that says, "Oh my God, like what?" People have literally DM'd me, and they've said, "Why are you leaving Pulsechain?" So no, we're not leaving Pulsechain. From the very beginning, it was always stated these are going to be multi-chain protocols because we want people on Pulsechain. We want to bring people over here so they can see all the cool stuff that everyone's building. And how cool Hex is and how cool Pulse is. Pulse, I still don't think people really grasp how powerful Pulse X is, right? That fucking buy and burn. I'm sorry, I'm swearing a little bit. I'm getting excited. But that buy and burn on Pulse X, man. When real money starts flowing through Pulse chain, that buy and burn is going to be insane. That thing is, if you have PLSX, then hold on to it for dear life.
Yep.
My opinion, not financial advice. Obviously, I'm just a guy here on the internet. But Jesus Christ, do your homework, and do your homework and just look at it, because when real money starts flowing through, that buy and burn is going to go absolutely berserk, and everyone will be extremely happy.
I love it. I mean, yeah, there might only be $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 of buy and burn pressure today, but we don't live in a vacuum. Things will change. Bad times are temporary. We need to stick through it, and we need to. We just need to see it through. Be careful to have that scarcity mindset of, oh, everything you do fractures from my bags. Like, I used to think like that too. Oh, well, we're fracturing all the liquidity. Now there's so many coins. There's going to be infinite coins. All right. That we're going to live in a world with infinite coins, or because it's the cost to enter the market is so low. Anyone can launch one and pump tires. But just realize that we have far more in secondary benefits from making these connections and building these bridges. So if you go tell someone on Solana about, Hex and stuff, or if you go infiltrate a Solana community, will some people go off to Solana? Yeah, maybe, but we have more to gain by approaching them than they, to approaching us. Yeah. They're a bigger ecosystem, just like the rest of the world. It's a pretty darn big ecosystem compared to Pulsechain. We almost have nothing to lose as long as we're letting people know, and the brand awareness. It's like, even going to different niches, different YouTube channels, like gaming YouTube channels, or whatever, woodworking, whatever it might be. Different niches can address different people as well. And it's like you don't ask yourself, aren't you worried that all these people are just going to go play video games now and they're going to leave Pulsechain? It's like no, it's just about the brand awareness. I mean, that scarcity mindset comes from just a place of lack. When really, if you come from a place of abundance, there's a lot of money out there, and anything we do that beats complaining and whining about the people doing stuff is going to probably have a net positive effect. Some is going to be more positive than others. Like a meme coin, might have some positive effect. I honestly think your game, or Jacob's games that he's building, his GameFi protocols, that has massive potential. I think to address new communities, not even in crypto, but like gamblers, people that like to, they like to feel that thrill of rolling the dice. And now you could do that in a crypto platform from anywhere in the world, no restrictions.
Yeah.
We don't realize how small of an echo chamber we are.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing, and I think it's because a lot of people in in Pulsechain, they're all shouting at each other. So it seems like, hey, there's a lot of people out there. We're really loud, right? Because you open your Twitter and there's 5 or 6 people arguing. But ultimately, I mean, we want Pulsechain to be so big. We want 500 or 1,000 people to be arguing every day.
Yeah.
We want 100 times the protocols. We want 100 times the meme coins, man. We want 1,000 times the meme coin. We want for Pulsechain to really get to the size that we want it, where everybody thinks we're going to get their 10,000 X's and we're all going to be able to cash that out at some stage. People don't realize how big we have to get first. You know what I mean?
We need to scale.
Yeah, we need to scale massively, and yeah, we do. We need to bring in. There's whales on other blockchains that have more money. They're spending more money and floating around more money every day than the entirety of Pulsechain. We're literally that small because we're designed to hold as well, right? We're delayed gratification. We're all the hex people. We're waiting for I don't know if some people are waiting for Richie Daddy to come and save us all.
I think that's a big part of it. I think the people whining and complaining the most are also having the most expectations of other people. That's why, like, people will get mad that, oh, Richard's not doing enough work. It's like, he built the fucking entire thing and he updates it all the time. And like, he's not streaming, but like, none of this would be here. He's been updating PulseX, Pulsechain.com, like, just beat the SEC for all of us. So I mean, he's putting in the work, and we're all kind of doing our part. Well, but there's always going to be that minority that just whines and complains. And
but those are the ones that want to cash out first, right? Again, if they had the long-term mindset and they really believed in the chain, they were like, okay, well, let's just get to a stage where I can afford to, I don't know, that's my little passive income, that's my monthly paycheck, and watch that paycheck just grow over time as the chain grows. But I think a lot of people who are really doing all the crying are the ones that will say, okay, well, just give me my money back, I'm out. I want to go somewhere else. And we will have a lot of those people too. And then they'll buy back in later. Yeah, they'll buy back in later at a higher price.
Yeah, people are simple. People only want to buy the green candles. And I vividly know, because we've experienced it in this cycle, even during the bear market, we've experienced shift turnarounds in sentiment. We were back above SAC rates. I don't know if people do forget quickly, but about a year ago, we were back above SAC rate and things were looking pretty optimistic and everybody was buying more. They weren't selling.
It was February last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, but
February last year, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I know I bought some more around like 0.0006 or whatever, 0.007, because I was like, oh, we're gonna blast past the top. That's how people think, and I'm also subject to the same emotions as everyone else. But it's called permanence bias when you assume that just because the way things are now are the way things are going to be forever. The only constant is change.
That's right. Yeah, that's absolutely right. I think this, man, I hope things start to move soon. On the macro, actually, not even so much. I hope Ethereum starts to move soon. Yeah. I think that's really. I think that's But I think that's kind of where it all really stems from, right? I mean, everyone's saying, "Oh no, pulse it down," and also, actually, I have something to say about sacrifices, right? Because if Pulsechain did what it was supposed to do, what we all thought it was going to do, come out of the gate, and this, by now at this stage in the market, we'd already have our massive ramp up. We'd all have loads of money. 9 out of 10 of those sacrifice projects that people sacrificed for back in, way back when, they would look fucking genius now. If Pulsechain did exactly what everyone expected it to do, we're all up here, people would be saying, oh my God, they sacrificed, I'm so happy I sacked for this. Yeah, at least all the ones that launched, right? Mintra, for example, I was so bullish on Mintra, it was unbelievable. And that was like NFT. I thought, oh yeah, NFTs, man. I'm sacrificing for Mintra. I love the idea behind it. Bring it on. Pulsechain needs it. Bring it on. And sadly, I would say for me anyway, it didn't work out too well. But
yeah, I threw a couple grand at that one, and I still like Gerardo's work. I think he builds good products all the time. It's just that the market doesn't necessarily care as much about NFTs as it did. Now we still have, and it's not even just Minter. We've got 3 or 4 awesome protocols. We've got what are the other ones? Blanking on the names. Beatbox. We've got all kinds of different NFT protocols. But they're more for fun now. They're more for fun and collecting, and there's less of a hype bubble on money making with NFTs. Like, I think hopefully they trend towards a method for artists to monetize their art. That's what I think it was designed to.
Or NFTs with some real utility behind them. Like there are protocols out there that have NFTs that that are tied in, and great. And being able to trade those things, fine, perfect. Bring it on. And the good thing is, at least the marketplaces are still there for in that inevitability that it all turns around, right? So they're already built, they're already ready to go. And again, like I say, so when Pulsechain does its thing, they'll all be there. They're all part of the infrastructure. They're all part of the base of the planning. And I think that's what we just need more of. Just keep on building, guys. Keep on building. If you have the ability to keep on building, just bloody do it, because the good days are coming. Like you say, right? The only thing guaranteed is change, right? It's happening and it's coming, and I just want to be in the position that I'm in, really, right? The position I'm in, which is just keep accumulating, keep buying stuff. There's still money to be made out there. If you look in the right places, there's still money to be made out there. You don't have to go balls deep, all in on every single thing that comes around, like people generally do at the top of a bear market when they have loads of money on, cash on hip, right? So if you can be a bit more strategic, I really believe that Pulsechain is going to make it. Right? We all say we're going to make it, but it's inevitable. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
I believe it's a matter of when, not if. And I believe that Pulsechain, PulseX, Hex, and a lot of the projects on it have a very bright future. There is something to be said for building and marketing. A lot of people build great stuff, but then don't tell the world about it. I'm only one voice. So there's all kinds of cool marketing stunts that I think we can do, that we're going to be doing. And it might take, we might be behind schedule in terms of our expectations. But if we're locked in here for the next 10 years at least, it's going to happen at some point. We just need to keep up with the creativity, not only in building, but marketing. And marketing outside, marketing to other new eyeballs. People talk so much shit about the postcards, but I believe that was probably one of the more effective ideas that we've had to reach new eyeballs. I mean, there's no way to quantify it, but banner ads on like Etherscan. I mean, who's really clicking on those? There's a lot of marketing dollars that have been wasted, I believe, but still anything is better than nothing. So throwing shit at the wall, seeing what sticks.
Yeah, no, I absolutely believe that too. Right? Do you remember when the Hex branded London black taxi cabs was around? Right.
Yes.
That was great too. People taking out adverts on the London Underground. I remember all of those, and that was all for Hex. That one of the things I think which is really great, right? Even to today, people are still. I mean, Hex is pretty simple what it does, right? You know what I mean? It's really simple what it does, but people have got years, literally right now, years and years of content out of it, right? Years and years of things being able to say about it. And, that's just Hex. Like there are equally as many fantastic things to say about PulseX, even Ink by itself, right? Is Ink going to have any utility at some stage, right? We don't know what Richard has up his sleeve. You really don't. If he does the wallet as well, that's going to be insane. One of the features, if anyone's out there as an average to Richard, a debit card, please. A debit card with the wallet would be very nice.
We've actually got one, blockblend.io.
Blockblend, yeah. I'm talking to the Blockblend guys, actually. I'm hoping I'll be able to stream with them soon.
Amazing.
I'm speaking to the team over there, yeah. Those guys are really cool. I use Blockblend. I really, really like what they're about. Anyone that out there doesn't know, blockblend.io, go and check it out. We've got so much cool stuff over here, right? And there are a lot of people like Blockblend, for example, not native to Pulsechain, right? Not native to Pulsechain, but they decided to go along with us, right? They're here for the ride, and I think as Pulsechain starts to progress, we're going to see a lot of really cool things from them as we continue to go forward, right? We know that the guys from Coast are doing really great things regarding onboarding and off ramping.
100%.
I think that's going to be really cool too.
Pulse LN, it's a really good widget.
Yeah, Pulsechain is pretty cool. Part of on-chain actually is going to be an on-ramp feature where people can actually buy directly into the casino using their credit card. That's going to be, I think we're working with Change Now. I think we're working with Change Now for that, right? So people can literally, you know, from any chain, you can, you know, onboard you can on-ramp basically buying your OC token, and then you can start to play around the casinos. And there's also bridges involved in it in on-chain, so you can literally bridge to other blockchains too. Any of the ones that we have that we're going to be on, people are literally going to be able to play against other people from other games. You can add liquidity to certain games. So basically you become the house, right? So if, you know, there's a roulette table, there's going to be a bunch of roulette tables, obviously just an example, but you can provide liquidity to a roulette table. You take part of that house edge, park your money away, and that's it, you know. So, and we know that the house edge of the casino, everyone says the casino always wins. So yeah, it's really about putting everything back into the hands of the owners of the casino, which I think is fantastic, you know. And like you say, even though you're not a gambler, it has huge potential because there are a lot of people that gamble. And effectively, I mean, a lot of people in crypto are kind of gamblers because, you know, what do we do every day? You know.
Yeah, you know, that's the harsh truth. We cover it up with our little charts, and you know, we try to make it sound more complicated. Y'all just want to watch that video up, dude. You just want to fucking put it on red. I know.
Yeah, I think that was probably one of the big PDI things, right? Everyone was like, okay, well, look, I'll just take a punt on it and just wait and see what happens. And then sadly it went down. I mean, I know people that got burned quite bad on PDI. I didn't get hurt too much. I mean, it hurts, but I was okay.
Glad to hear that you didn't get completely wrecked. I did think a lot of people were over allocated. And anyway, moving on from that, because it just seems like a lost cause at this point. Yeah.
So what do you think about RH Max's conference?
It's great. I love seeing new people try out their spin on a conference. RH Max is a great, real stand-up guy. He's a good person that I would probably want representing Pulsechain. Just normal dude, professional. He's been here for a long time. He's tried and true. You know, his heart's in the right place.
I was just going to say exactly that. I think his heart's in the right place when it comes to RH Max. Honestly, yeah, I really do. I agree.
And like, we got to think when other people are from the outside looking in to our community, what do we want them to see? I mean, of course, you're going to see a whole range of different personalities. We shouldn't have to have like one uniform identity, but it's, you know, you could have a kind of blue collar dudes or whoever, like maybe I was just talking to a woodworker, a metalsmither, and a guy that makes like swords and metallurgist. You know, there's a guy that unboxes Pokemon cards and stuff. All these people are doing what they like to do in their own niche, and they're cross-pollinating with Pulsechain. As long as you're not just being hateful on the internet, like whatever you're saying probably resonates with some group of people. And just think about the fact that you kind of represent the brand. And I guess just don't be an anti. Don't be an anti. Don't be a net negative. That's all.
Yeah. I think I really think that's it, right? And you know, people really worry about, okay, well, what can I do to help? You know, what can I do to help drive things forward? Hey, look, if you're watching this now, you've already got some sort of leave comments, right? Leave comments. Anyone out there that's watching from Coffee's channel and you don't know mine, hey, do me a favor and subscribe, you know, because you know, you never know what kind of content you're going to get. I'm pretty sure everyone from my channel that has come here because of my community or the Jacob community already follow you. Right? So, but if there aren't, do me a favor and follow Coffee, right? He's absolutely, again, stand-up guy, knows his stuff. One of the first people I started watching around here, I think it was you and Randy Hilarski, way back in the day. And yeah, we just need more of it, you know. Leave comments, subscribe to people's channels, just so you can find out more information, right? You know, information is key on Pulsechain, and there's so much information even now, we're still relatively so small. There's still so much information to digest. We have so many people creating content. You know, it's amazing. And literally, you could spend your whole day. I spend most of my day with the headphones on, just watching other people's streams from the night before, because I'm in Europe, right? So I miss the majority of the US stuff. And I spend the next day rewatching it all, right? Replay gang, just to try and keep up with the news and keep up, you know, what's happening. And not only that, then you jump into the telegrams, and you know, I mean, God, there's so many telegram groups. It's a lot. It's a lot to digest, right? So finding someone like this guy here, right? Finding someone like here, he does a lot of the homework for you. You know, that's exactly what a lot of these content creators are for, right? They're literally out there to get as many new eyeballs as possible, but also to, you know, disseminate all the information to us all, right? Because we all want it and we're all waiting for it.
Yeah, we should all lean into our strengths, I think. And if I'm your first, you know, if I'm good for maybe like education and onboarding or tutorials and things like that, great. But there's a lot of other people that can do stuff that I can't do. In terms of especially the entertainment factor, the eyeball factor. I mean, I can do SEO and marketing and direct mail and all these classic things, but I'm not necessarily, you know, Hawk Tuah girl, or like I don't have that level of like pop culture fame. And not that I would want that particular flavor of it, but you know what I mean? Like we can go target people that have perhaps a big podcast, like the Hodge twins, or people that are tangential in the red pill community, or people that like Andrew Tate, whatever he's, you know, whatever that is. And that we just got to lean into our strengths, but every little bit counts. Like you said, even just leaving a comment and a like, as long as you're not destroying, creating and consuming, it's net positive.
Yeah. And I know, I mean, I know that there are a lot of people out there too that are trying to chance their arm at building stuff, and they're worried, you know. It's, listen, just do it. Just do it. If you want to build something, just do it, right? If you have good morals about the whole thing, and you actually, you know, you're not building something because you just, you know, because you have intentions to rogue, obviously. But, you know, if you think that you have something which will be useful, try and build it. Reach out to developers to help you build it if you want. You'll find it very quickly if it's a good idea or not. The community will let you know. They'll fucking tell you. They'll rip you apart if it's a shit one.
The internet is a very honest place, and so just do anything. Yeah. The best time to start was yesterday. Just
exactly.
I notice it in myself, overthinking stuff too. If I want to try a new video or something, I usually and maybe you launch it and it sucks. That's fine. Your first 100 videos are probably gonna suck. If you go back and watch my old ones, they're terrible. I leave them up there, but I don't like watching them. And clearly, you can't help but get better at something if you just stay consistent.
Yeah, that's it, right? Put in the hours. And I think everyone on Pulsechain, if you want to be successful, you got to put in the hours, right? And even if it is, when we see, you know, we see numbers of views or numbers of subscribers, all of that stuff is motivation to keep going.
Yeah.
You know. Cool. Any parting words for the peeps? We're approaching an hour.
Everybody go follow KvltDeFi and Jacob. I don't know Jacob's thing on Twitter. Do you know it?
If you find me, then you'll find all of Jacob's stuff. I'm quite Jacob, you know, ecosystem exclusive.
Cool. Well, that's KvltDeFi with a V where the U should be. And
yeah, that's right. KvlT.
And again, they're focused on entertainment, games, gambling, things that your buddy from college would like. You know, things that your buddy that you grew up with would actually understand. That's not complicated DeFi. It's like an online video game or like an online roulette wheel. And that can be someone's gateway drug into Pulsechain. Maybe they find out about Hex. Maybe they find out about whatever other projects they're interested in. But thanks for promoting something that's so different in a good way. Yeah,
man. Thanks very much. I mean, I really appreciate that. You know, because at the end of the day, we all want Pulsechain to do well, and you know, if it's through, you know, getting gamblers and gamers over here, okay, great. If it's through, you know, getting bigger players to use algorithmic stablecoins properly to earn yield from them, great, fine. If it's, you know, if it's whatever might come up in the future, like, we have no idea. You know, at the end of the day, Pulsechain needs everything. We need everything that a good blockchain has. You know, we need the good stuff, the bad stuff, the ugly stuff, the fun stuff. you know. And if we get to the size that we really believe that Pulsechain can get to, it's inevitable that we're going to have all of the same problems that plague other blockchains, right? We're going to have the scammers, we're going to have the rug pulls, we're going to have all of this. In the meantime, the best thing you can do for yourself is find people like Coffee, right, and RH Max, and there's a lot of them out there, right? A lot of these really cool cats out there. That's how you do your homework. Do your homework now, so you might not get bitten in the future, you know. But at the same time, don't be afraid to think outside the box and develop something yourself. Don't be afraid to launch your tokens on pump tires. If something funny happens, launch it on pump tires and just see what happens. You never know, right? You never know. I've seen absolute crazy ones make some people some real good money, you know.
You could catch.
So you can do all of that stuff.
You could make the next fart coin. Stupid as that is.
Exactly, right. You could do all of that really cool stuff. So I mean, while we're doing that, hey, go and have fun, do all of those really cool things. And if you have nothing to do immediately after this, I would suggest everyone go over and catch up with RH Max's conference. Go and support him over there. It's going to be on, I think there's another few hours left for today, and then it's going to be on again tomorrow. I will be on tomorrow at around 2:30 in the afternoon EST. I'm going to be on a Pulsechain panel with Brissology, Randy Hilarski, and a few others. Yeah, just chatting about Pulsechain, things that are all near and dear to our heart.
Thanks, dude. Talk to you later.
Cool. All right. Thanks very much. Ciao, guys.